Hey, Coach, so glad you found us. Couple things. First of all, subscribe. Please go over and do that. That will keep you updated with everything that we're doing. Second thing is go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. If you want to put hardware in your basement, if you want to win more games, let me help you do that. I will give you my personal email address. We'll do one-on-one calls. We'll do office hours, less than $1 a day, 14-day free trial. Go over and check it out. Let's head off to the video.
All right, welcome to high school hoops. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm excellent, Coach. How you doing?
I pulled you off the court. I kind of feel bad about that. Texting him this afternoon. Like, hey, I might be free early. My wife's going out to dinner with her friends. Um, but no, I appreciate you pivoting for me. But before we do that, let me give a big shout out to who lets my wife go out to dinner because I earn a few dollars is teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's a one-stop shop. It's got a little bit of everything. It's the greatest time right now in June to go out and work on yourselves. We always tell players to work on themselves. Always coaches, this June and July are always my great months. August, I don't do quite as good a job, but June and July I always do a good job of improving. And teachhoops.com is available for you. We have the introductory level and we have the master level, the championship level. So you can go over to the membership site at teachhoops.com and look that up and let me know if you have any questions. All right. So today's topic leading into the skill development for players. So skill development for players, Coach. You were trying to narrow me down on this topic, and I said, no, let's kind of keep it open. What's your thought on skill development?
I mean, being in the AAU and the clinic arena, it's been evolving. It's been evolving from a couple of years ago, where it used to be the stand, still, dribble, right hand, left hand, cross. What I've been focusing on a lot more now is decision making and reactionary drills. And I think that's kind of where we're going. It's a little bit like education. We're not focusing on vocab anymore. We're focusing on more of like in-person skills that
Right.
you can use.
The
And I think
whole,
that's where we're at.
the whole part of the student. Yes.
So I've been doing a lot more drills of I'm going to toss you the ball here. What are your where are you going? So you catch the ball baseline or attack middle, and then once you get middle, is it jump stop? So it's all in game stuff. It's not your typical pass, cut, get, line. It's more of in game movement type
Well,
activity.
it's teaching them to read. It's the some people refer to it as small-sided games. It's also reactionary. It's more like reads. What happens when they hedge on that screen? How are you going to read it? And it's like you can't think. The game is so fast. That's what people don't understand about basketball that haven't played it or coached it for long stretches is it's a reactionary game in which you have to make lots of decisions in microseconds.
Yeah, and when I grew up, it really wasn't taught like that. It
Now,
was more. Here's how your feet are supposed to be. Here's how you do a layup. Here's your jump, and all that stuff. And I feel like now parents will see a kid get trapped, and they're like, "Oh, how did that happen?" It's like that happened way before. That was he misread 3 times, and then ended up in that spot.
right.
So
I
how can
mean,
we stop
even
that?
in one possession on offense and one possession on defense, a player probably has to make 100 decisions. Where do I cut? Where do I do? What do I box out? Where do I move? How do I do it? Like, what do I do with the ball? Where do I go with the ball? So it's a microcosm of no one makes as many decisions in a day as a kid does in 2-hour basketball practice. It's just crazy the amount of decisions you have to micro make all the time. And that's why I think the teaching them to react and to know that here's how. I mean, if you watched, or I don't know, this is going to go out in June. NBA finals will be over yet. It might be close. But all those guys, that's all they're doing is reacting. because they're
Yeah.
all such good players. It's just a reaction thing. So I think that really is a good skill. I think they have to work on a lot.
And it's reacting to multiple different things too. I mean, even with the high school team, um, calling timeouts to be like, hey, we're down 3, right? We're going to inbound the ball at our own end. Setting up small areas where they need to start to think a little bit and preparing them for reacting not only in game but also outside of the game for a little bit and then coming back in and coming out of timeouts. I think it's very important.
So what do you think is the worst skill? The skill that needs development the most?
I think rebounding needs the most work, but there's no way to do it because I really think that's a skill that if a guy wants to get out there and get rebounds, he's gonna get it. Like Dennis Rodman. Just
Well,
watch.
it's also a point of like I had a really this. I think this is the first time in like 25 years I haven't had a true center, like a true center, and the only reason we were able to rebound is because we did drill it a crud load, and we also emphasized it. Like we got to rebound. If we can't run, if we don't rebound, we got to rebound. We got to rebound. We got to rebound. I mean, everything was about getting a body on somebody, boxing out. We got to go. So
So what was the drill? What was the drill then? So my whole thing is the kids should know angles, but you can't really teach angles. So
right.
what do you drill?
It's also teaching physicality. We'll do the math drill where you just throw it. I mean, it's part of it's physicality, part of it's wanting to go get the ball, part of it is putting a kid on a wing and a kid under the basket, and you just throw and then like go get it. There's a lot of different correlations of it's the read and react part of the ball goes up, go find somebody. And it can't be necessarily the guy closest to you. And building up that, it's amazing when there's a consequence on the other side, what they'll do with the drill too. Um, uh, the ball hitting the floor, we'll do stuff even 5-on-5. If the ball hits the floor, that means
Everybody's got to go.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different things, but we had to drill it to show them that it was important. And then we weren't drilling it every day all the time, blah, blah. It was just a drill here, drill there to kind of show, find, hit, get is what we talk about. There's lots of different lingos for them. You got to find them, you got to hit them, and then you got to go get the ball. It's not like necessarily the old school, get low, blah, blah, blah.
Fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
then you separate and then go get the ball. But it's that part of that is that physicality and that contact too. So a lot of it just really kind of depends. But then once we emphasize and they knew we were, defense was another thing we had to emphasize a lot this year. That we basically all the time, like if we all of a sudden I'd stop a drill, no one boxed out, run or do here's your 10 push it, whatever it was. They just knew that it was like turnover is one of my pet peeves. And we weren't going to win if we
It comes
didn't
back to kind of what we were talking about. It's you're drilling things to get them to think without thinking.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and I think that's where we went wrong in the past with we're gonna do this, we're gonna do Mikins, and we're gonna do this,
And they all have their spots. Those drills,
yes,
the
they're all
Mikan still a
different.
good drill. The 2-ball Mikan, I love the 2-ball Mikan. And then,
You throw it up and get my fingertips warm and all that. But
yeah,
when it comes to game time decisions, I'm catching the ball in between the slot and the baseline,
right.
and a double's coming at me. My mic and drills are going to help me there. I need to know what to do and how to perform. So
Yes, I agree 100%. So going back, so rebounding, I would put rebounding on it. I, you know, Most important skill that every kid can work on, I always believe, is everyone can learn to shoot the ball better. It's a skill, especially in the off season. And I was talking, I don't remember, I was talking to another coach the other day about there's a difference between everyone can be a shooter, not everyone can be a scorer. So scoring is reading. Scoring is they're on me and I'm gonna cross over. Shooting is like an empty gym. I was telling an 8th grader I was talking to the other day, I said, if you're a good 3-point shooter, you should be able to hit 60% in an empty gym every day, all day, with your eyes closed. Boom, 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 boom. Because it's going to drop about 20% when you have to come off a screen and you're off balance and it's pressure.
A guy closing out on you.
Closing out on you, and all of a sudden you got to take a step back, and all those things are what make you a scorer. But everybody's got to be a shooter. Everybody's got to be a shooter. That will be a discussion I'll have with my team next week when we have our team meeting leading into the summer. What else was skill development, coach? I think, and thing with skill development, I think it's great if you got another person to do it with, especially if you're working on things.
Because it's somebody that's pushing you, and
it's reactionary. It's more the reactionary stuff. Yeah. I think sometimes when kids don't have people to work with, it can hurt a little bit. And then I think you got to put in the time in skill development. It's like anything in life, you got to put time in. If you don't put the time in, it doesn't matter, in my opinion. But you gotta get in the habit of doing whatever you're going to do. Get in the habit of shooting, getting in the habit of scoring, whatever it is.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that we lose as we get into our high school seasons is on-ball defense. I feel like we as coaches, we focus on a lot of sets and what am I doing? Are my inbounds okay? Or my on-ball defense, a guy being able to stay in front of another guy is so important, and drilling that into guys every day. And I think it starts in the off season.
As Giannis got beat off the dribble by Halliburton. I mean, I was on my guys the next day. Like, how do you he went right-handed too. Yep. You don't push him left.
Yep. You got to push him the opposite. Yeah. And
I don't care if you're an all pro. You got to push him.
Also, the help was awful. Get the ball in somebody else's hands.
Right.
That a shot.
Yeah. Everyone was worried about the pop and the three, and I know. All right. Anything else in closing, Coach?
Nope. That's it. So, what were the three that we talked about? I guess
we talked about rebounding. We talked about shooting. You just talked about ball pressure.
Stay on the ball. Yep.
And in an overview, I think the key is basically working in not a vacuum is what it is. It's working on it in where you have to make decisions in small-sided games, in reactionary things. It's this kind of skill development every kid needs. It's like taking a test. That's the best thing. You might be able to do one problem on the homework, but can you do 6 problems that are all a little tweaked differently when the clock is ticking down? You know.
Yeah. So you guys start with the regular problems and you go to word problems, right?
Yes, you get more difficult. All right. Till next week, Coach.
All right.
Hey, Coach. So glad you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and like before you leave, and also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's got everything and a roadmap for you to become a better basketball coach. So go over and check it out, and let's head back to the next video, wherever that would be.